Travel consideration provided by...
Want to know a secret? I don't have any tan lines.
Mom, please tell me it's because you use natural glow and not a nude beach situation.
Get flawless, natural-looking color and no tan lines. Jergens.
Tomorrow on E.T. Inside Britney Spears' life in quarantine, missing her man, and setting her workouts on fire.
I burnt my gym down, unfortunately.
Plus, we're checking in with Donnie Wahlberg and Jenny McCarthy. Our Friday flashback to when we first met them.
I was a bad boy when I was little. In my mind, I'm a good boy now.
Tomorrow on E.T.
You know, sheltering in place has definitely changed the way that we do interviews. And when I talked to Tim Allen about Last Man Standing, I couldn't help but remember a certain superhero movie that he did back in 2006.
We are on Zoom, so it's not lost on us that you are Captain Zoom.
Actually, it's Zoom.
I helped write that movie. It was a neat idea about what superheroes really are capable of.
Happening now. The city looking at expanding its testing capacity, how they do it, and when.
I think this is a potential breakthrough. It really gives us hope.
There could be hope on the horizon for the treatment of COVID-19. We'll have the latest on groundbreaking research being done right here.
It's a little warm outside today, but we have a lack of humidity in the air. However, we know that can't last forever. I'll be back to talk about the weekend and what that means in terms of the heat and humidity coming right up.
Fewer trips to the grocery store means storing more food. Coming up, how to store it to make it last longer.
Plus, meat packing plants are being affected by COVID-19 here in the U.S. What this means for the nation's meat supply. The news at 5 starts right now. Right.
He was tested for COVID-19 Tuesday. By this morning, detention officer Timothy De La Fuente had died.
Bexar County Sheriff's officials confirming the agency's first coronavirus-related death.
Dylan Collier live outside the jail with more on the deputy's passing. Dylan.
Steve and Ursula, health officials confirmed that Deputy De La Fuente had tested positive for COVID-19 this morning. Before they could even notify him, his wife had found him dead inside their North Side home. De La Fuente was a 27-year veteran of the sheriff's office and had actually survived being attacked on the job inside the jail a few years ago. Sheriff Javier Salazar confirming that De La Fuente had other medical conditions. He would not go into detail about what those were. De La Fuente was also assigned to a so-called jail hotspot, an area of the jail that has had a lot of COVID-19 positive results in recent weeks. Sheriff Salazar saying he would not be at all surprised in the next few days if cases inside the jail were, in his words, to skyrocket.
What I can tell you is I'm a big fan of mass testing. I really am. Although it's going to give us some numbers that may scare us. I think that it's just indicative of what we have walking around on the streets. Heck, you can walk into one of these units right now and everybody seems just fine, and yet everybody in there has COVID-19.
And just in the last 5 minutes, a deputy came outside here at the Adult Detention Center and lowered those flags to half staff. Sheriff Salazar saying this will be considered a line of duty death. De La Fuente will be buried with full Bexar County Sheriff's Office honors. Reporting live outside the jail, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Dylan. During the press conference, Sheriff Salazar says 129 inmates have now tested positive for COVID-19.
In a 10-1 vote, City Council agreeing to extend Mayor Ron Nuremberg's stay home, stay safe order until May 19th. That order aligning closely with Governor Greg Abbott's plans to reopen Texas and still includes the mask mandate. At the same time, the head of the San Antonio Metropolitan Health District says that they are ramping up their testing capability. Garrett Berger joins us now live to explain all this.
Well, speaking to city council members today, Don Emmerich, the director of Metro Health, said that they know a second wave of COVID-19 cases will eventually come. They just don't know how bad it's going to be. So they're trying to front load their testing capacity and the number of contact tracers they have to help track down who's been in contact with positive results. Now, ultimately, Emmerich wants to move from being able to do 1,600 tests a day now up to 3,000 by the end of June. That's across all testing locations, private doctors' clinics, all of it. That will be helped by more big testing sites and walk-up mobile clinics. Though she says getting all the supplies for testing is a hurdle. Plus, she says they want to make sure they're targeting the tests.
So we want to look at some of our marginalized communities and marginalized groups of folks that have historically not have had access to, healthcare to begin with. So many of these communities, there's a very low uninsured rate. And so again, we want to bring the testing to those neighborhoods. So.
And having the capacity to do more testing will also let them start a study of asymptomatic transmission of the virus. So they'll be able to do random sample testing starting next month. Plus they plan to do universal testing at certain locations like nursing homes and the jail. So that would be testing everyone at these kind of locations, whether they look sick or not. Now, as this is happening, Emmerich says they are still trying to bring on more contact tracers to help them track down people who may have come into contact with those positive results. She said that if anybody's interested in doing that work, they can call 311 to get added to the list. Live downtown, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Garrett. A potential breakthrough in treating COVID-19 with ties to San Antonio. Preliminary results are positive for a national study with an experimental antiviral drug. Our Jesse DeGuiato says it's part of an international effort to learn more about the drug's safety and its effectiveness.
It really gives us hope. It's something we all needed.
Here's what's encouraging about the yet-to-be FDA-approved antiviral drug remdesivir in treating patients hospitalized with COVID-19. Early results show the recovery rate was 31% shorter than using a placebo, 11 days instead of 15. The mortality rate also fell, with remdesivir 8%, with a placebo 11.6%.
Obviously, shortening the duration and improving survival is great.
But it's not a cure, says the researcher who oversaw the clinical trial by UT Health San Antonio and University Hospital.
But I think it is a breakthrough in that now we have hope that a therapy will improve outcomes in patients with this disease.
Patterson also says it could lead to other therapeutic advances. Still, he says more data is yet to come as more patients in the clinical trial are treated with this antiviral drug. Patients who took part not only for their sake,
but they also really wanted to participate to basically help the community to thwart this terrible infection that we're seeing.
Patterson is hoping remdesivir may get fast-track approval, yet he says it's hard to say when that could be. Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
H-E-B adding meat to the list of purchase limits due to the COVID-19 impact on meat packing plants. Those limits apply to various stores throughout Texas and right here in San Antonio. Ground beef limited to 1 package. Beef, chicken, pork, and turkey limited to 2 packages of any combination. In a statement, the company said, in part, quote, product limits are in place to protect the supply chain and ensure all customers have access to the products they need and leave some for their neighbors, end quote.
Via extending its fare relief period on its buses through Sunday, May 17th. Prior to reintroducing fare collection, customer information and ticket windows will reopen. Via employees will continue to have temperature checks regularly. Via will still require all passengers over 10 years old to wear face coverings to board. No more than 16 passengers on board a bus at a time. The essential service schedule will remain. For details of that schedule, you can head to our website at ksat.com. On your screen now, the latest Bexar County numbers, 1,326 confirmed cases. With the passing away of the BCSO deputy this morning, the death toll is now at 47 deaths. 55 people are hospitalized, 36 in intensive care, 20 are on ventilators. Recoveries are now near 500.
Some bad news here. Unemployment numbers continue to balloon as more than 3 million people filed for benefits last week. That brings the total number of those out of work to more than 30 million. As financial conditions deteriorate for millions around the country, a new battle over another round of stimulus funding is just getting started. Camila Bernal has the latest.
Thursday marking one of the worst snapshots of the labor market in modern U.S. history.
We've been pretty frank with the American people that the shutting down of an economy is going to give us a few months of really, really startling data.
More than 3 million Americans filed for unemployment benefits last week, pushing the unemployment rate to 14% in April, the highest since the U.S. began releasing the data in 1948.
Those numbers are as startling as anything we've seen since the Great Depression.
As Americans deal with the financial strain, lawmakers are debating another relief package. Democrats say they want more money to go to state and local governments, but Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says such funding should be contingent on passing liability reform to protect employers from lawsuits after the pandemic calms.
When we're looking at the states and municipalities and counties and the assistance that we would give them, we're looking at what are your outlays for the coronavirus and what is your revenue lost because of the coronavirus.
What she's ignoring is the second pandemic, which is going to be lawsuits against doctors, nurses, hospitals, and brave business people who are opening up.
Republicans and Democrats agree that additional stimulus funding is crucial to stabilizing the nation. But what neither side can say is when that aid will appear. The Senate heads back to Washington next week. The House likely won't return until the bill is ready for a vote. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Here's a live look outside with our live cam, and we have a lot of sunshine out there again today. Just some high thin clouds that start to stream overhead late tonight and through the day tomorrow. And take a look at our temperatures earlier this morning. We woke up to the 40s in parts of the hill country. Here in San Antonio, we had a low of 53, and that's almost 10 degrees below average. Even Pleasanton got down to 49, Uvalde 51. Now that was earlier this morning. Right now, we're well into the 80s, even 90 in some spots. 93 in Warren's backyard in Del Rio, Mike's backyard in Floresville, 91, Shirts at 90 degrees, and many locations in the upper 80s, including Bulverde. All right, now as we go through the rest of the evening, it's going to be very similar to what we had yesterday. Clear sky, comfortable with the lack of humidity, temperatures falling off quickly, and tomorrow morning, we'll be back down in the 50s, but that can't last forever. We're going to talk more about that and the newest drought monitor that just came in today coming up.
Thank you, Adam. For the past 6 weeks, Folklore's Coffee House has delivered grocery items to nearly 4,000 senior citizens across San Antonio, and they don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Up to 250 care packages get delivered every 2 days. It includes a pound of rice, beans, pasta, vegetables, and more. The owners say they were raised by their grandparents, and they wanted to make sure these grandparents aren't forgotten during the pandemic.
To us, it feels like we're doing the right thing. You know, we feel like this was our calling, and we haven't stopped. And we've been doing it for a long time, and a lot of our friends believe what we're doing, and they help us out. You know, so we're blessed.
They're always looking for delivery drivers and monetary donations. We have information on how to help or to get a care package on our website at KSAT.com.
Birthday parades, a new celebration for this ongoing pandemic. However, today's parade was organized by a mother who was working as a nurse in New York. Photojournalist Eddie Latigo shows us the tear-jerking celebration.
Happy birthday
It's very difficult. I've never missed a birthday. I've always been there for my daughters. I'm currently in New York right now. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm at the epicenter taking care of the COVID patients here in New York right now. It's just a wonderful and so heartfelt to see how the community came together to make this day special for me in my absence for my baby. So you guys have truly put a smile in my heart and definitely a smile on my baby's face, and that means the world to me.
I was just really grateful that they're there for me, especially during right now. They didn't have to do it, and there's so many people, and they're here.
We all love Sanaya, and we all are very thankful for her mother for being there for us.
I love you too.
Happy birthday, Sanaya.
Yeah, the one time a traffic jam is a good thing.
Great thing, yeah.
Still ahead at 5, the fewer trips you're making to the grocery store might make you wonder how to keep your food lasting longer and not let it go to waste. Now that we're making fewer trips to the grocery store, keeping the milk, the bread, the eggs fresher longer is very important. The average American household throws out nearly 1/3 of the food it buys, wasting food and money. 12 on your side's Marilyn Warrens on how to keep your groceries from going bad.
The key to making your food last longer is storage. Start with your fridge. It should be set at 37 degrees and the freezer at 0 for optimum freshness. In the cupboard, check the best buy dates and move the oldest to the front. And don't take those dates as throw-out dates.
Best buy dates may mean the food will taste best before this date, but it doesn't mean it's unsafe to eat. Examine foods past their best buy date. If you see signs of spoilage, when in doubt, throw it out.
Dry goods in your pantry will last longer if you store them in airtight packaging. That helps keep moisture and bacteria out. When you freeze or refrigerate foods, wrap them tightly and mark the date. What about bread? Food experts say it will keep longer out of the fridge.
Bread can go stale much faster in the refrigerator than if you store it in a cool, dry place, but you can freeze it. Just wrap it tightly and put it in an airtight container or a resealable bag.
If you don't think you'll use the milk before it expires, pour some out and freeze it. It will keep for up to 3 months. Strawberries will last longer in the fridge if you remove the stems and store separately in a covered container. And eggs. You can freeze them, but the USDA says don't freeze them in the shell. To keep the yolks from hardening and becoming unusable, whisk them a bit and pour into an airtight container. They'll keep well for about a year in your freezer. Marilyn Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
Some really good advice in there.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I never knew that about the bread in
Yeah,
the fridge.
me neither. I thought that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
I didn't know you could freeze bread. All right, 88 degrees out there. Beautiful day again today.
Yeah, gorgeous day. I mean, could you believe those low temperatures earlier this morning? Down in the 40s in parts of the hill country. It's that really dry air that we have with the lack of humidity that allows the temperature to fall off so much. Not quite as cool tomorrow morning, but still running below average and widespread 50s. And it is Thursday, so we want to bring you the latest drought monitor, which is updated every Thursday. And this does actually have a little bit of an improvement compared to last week, and that's along the coastal plain east of San Antonio. You look closer around town, and it's the same. We're mostly abnormally dry in Bexar County, a moderate drought as you get into southwestern portion of the county and into Medina County, and still, unfortunately, that extreme drought, basically Eagle Pass southward into Maverick County, and still some locations along the coastal plain in that extreme drought as well. So we could use some more rain, and really, as the entire state goes, the drought is basically confined to South Texas and the coastal bend. Well, no relief from the drought today, just bright sunshine out there and very quiet weather across the Lone Star State. The activities, especially in New England along the East Coast there, they have that big dip in the upper level flow. Those are nice when you're looking for rainfall. What we have is our big blue H settling in, the big bump, that ridge in the upper level flow giving us our quiet weather pattern. And this upper level high is going to make itself at home here for several days, and that's going to give us a dry stretch of weather. So unfortunately, no really good shot at rain anytime soon. Actually, we're looking at a 0% chance here for several days in a row until we get to the middle part of next week. And even then, not looking all that hot. Temperature-wise, Lubbock at 90. 89 at Junction, Del Rio, you're at 95, 89 in Victoria, and you get closer to home. And for the most part, we're in the upper 80s, some locations low 90s, including Carrizo Springs at 93, but 88 here in San Antonio. And the water temperature, by the way, measured at Bob Hall Pier, up to 80 degrees now. All right, look what happens to temperatures as we go forward. Notice how we just keep stair-stepping our way up. So we're starting to turn up the heat, and not only the heat, but the humidity. Temperatures will be well into the 90s, and we're thinking even mid to upper 90s by Monday and Tuesday of next week. With the lack of humidity right now, dew points 30s and 40s for the most part. So feeling comfortable and pleasant out there without that mugginess. But look what happens as we go through time. That southeasterly wind, it kicks in tomorrow. It's not going to push in the humidity quite yet. It's a gradual process. Still a lack of humidity in the air tomorrow, so not sticky and muggy outside. But once we get into Saturday, that mugginess returns, dew points well into the 60s at that point. So not only will it be hotter, but of course we'll have that humidity back in the air by the weekend. Tomorrow morning, 56 for the low temperature, even cooler in the hill country, 83 at noon, and then right near 90 for the afternoon high. Bright sunshine, just a few thin clouds streaming overhead. We get into the weekend, and there's that humidity again. With it, those morning clouds that usually take until about 9 to 11 a.m. to break up, and then afternoon sunshine. Temperatures rising through the 90s all weekend. I think we'll top out at 98 by Tuesday. That'll be our max. And then a little cool front should pay us a visit Tuesday night. And that should put us back near average again by the middle part of next week. But as you see there, not much in terms of rain chances, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to need some rain soon. Thank you, Adam.
All right, always interesting to hear what the Spurs and the Spurs organization thinks about what we're going through right now.
Well, there have been a lot of reports that some team executives want to cancel the season right now. What do the Spurs big brass have to say about that? R.C. Buford, the president CEO, meeting with the media for the very first time since the COVID-19 pandemic began. And guess who's going to wear number 88 now when he said he was going to wear 10 coming up? Our San Antonio Spurs have had to make no staff reductions or layoffs, and in fact will pay all staff members through the end of this season. That's according to Spurs Sports and Entertainment President and CEO R.C. Buford. Speaking to reporters via Zoom today for the very first time since the NBA shutdown occurred last March due to the coronavirus, Buford was asked if he wants this season to continue. Amid reports, there are some team executives who want the league to cancel what's left of 2020 to prepare for 2021.
Our position all along is we want to do what's right for the league and for the fans. Every intention is to return to play and to try to create the best environment we can for the league and for the fans, and we're all on board for that.
The NBA has given the green light for team facilities to reopen 1 week from this Friday amid Governor Greg Abbott's lifting some restrictions during the COVID-19 pandemic. So the question put to Buford is, will the Spurs open their practice facility on May the 8th?
We're going to make that decision as we get more information, as we have more data around our own local environment as well as the national environment. We're not putting any dates on it. It's going to be more how we get the information that we need to be comfortable to provide the right atmosphere for our players.
Buford would not comment on if any players, coaches, or staff members had tested positive for the coronavirus, but did praise the work of the San Antonio Food Bank and the mayor for their service to the community during these uncharted times.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
1 week after making LSU quarterback Joe Burrow the #1 draft pick in the NFL, the Cincinnati Bengals have released Andy Dalton. Thus ends a 9-year career in Cincinnati for Dalton, who was drafted out of TCU in the second round by the Bengals back in 2011. The move pretty much guarantees that Burrow, who won a national championship, was named the Heisman Trophy winner, will start in his rookie season. Dalton, who led the Bengals to the playoffs 5 times, was due to make over $17.5 million in the final year of his contract, but Cincinnati did not have enough money to keep him under the salary cap and still sign his rookie class. CeeDee Lamb had earlier told us he would wear number 10 when he suits up for the Dallas Cowboys. That's after he fell to number 17 and the Cowboys snagged the OU wide receiver. But Jerry Jones wants Lamb to wear the iconic number 88, the same jersey worn by such Cowboy greats as Drew Pearson and Michael Irvin. You can go online right now at NFL Shop. There's Lamb's number 88 jersey ready to purchase. How about that? And NASCAR's back in business May 17th in Darlington.
I'm laughing that Jerry wants him to wear 88. So guess what number he's wearing?
You're going to wear 88.
He's wearing 88.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Tomorrow we'll start the day a little below average again in the 50s, 56 around San Antonio, even cooler as you get into the hill country, but mostly sunny and 90 by the afternoon, just some high thin clouds. Looking ahead, notice those temperatures really rising, especially in the afternoon. We'll be well into the 90s as we get into next week, and even over the weekend, you'll notice the added heat and the humidity returns for the upcoming weekend. With it, though, not a good chance of rain. We'll have another cool front next week, and right now it's looking mainly dry.
Thank you so much, Adam, and thank you for watching the News at 5 with us.
World News up next. See you back here at 6 o'clock.